in the DC machines. Today's class, that's my intention. So that uh, once you understand this, it is easier. It's easier to make you understand the transformers. Okay, that's my intention. So first we will go ahead slowly. What is the construction of DC machine? What do you find out? I think several names are there: stator, rotor. This DC machine is a rotating one. So you will have a rotor and you will have a stator. Okay, there is a stator is there, there is a rotor is there. Okay. What is there in the stator? What is there in the rotor? Yeah, please parallelly you can answer. If you answer parallelly so that I will understand what exactly you have understood. This is my intention. Yeah, what do you find out on the stator in the DC machine? Answer. See, the thing is that if you don't answer, then I cannot understand that whether it is audible to you or not, or you don't know the answer. Okay, this is the problem. Okay. So, okay. So I will tell that anyhow. So you have a stator. See, stator in the sense what? Stator in the sense um, the part which is stationary. That's stator. So this part is stationary. You can say, yeah, I will write stationary. This part is rotating. So this part is stationary, this part is rotating. In DC machine, there is one part which is stationary, there is another part which is rotating. These two parts you will find out in DC. So now in the DC machines, which part is stationary? And now and some more classification is also there in the DC machine. Two parts. One part you call it as field, another part you call it as armature. What is field? What is armature? What is field? What is armature? Field in the sense, someone just now told this thing. Principle we will use here is Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So this is the principle we will use. So now what is Faraday's law? Please, anyone can answer what is Faraday's law. What is Faraday's law? Then I will tell you this thing that Faraday's law says this thing that, see, when there is a magnetic field, see, field here in the sense, let me exactly, it is a magnetic field, not electric field. Okay. There is a magnet is there. Now, this is one example. You have a north pole, you have a south pole. So definitely, what do you find out between north and south pole? There are always flux lines. These are the flux lines. I think these are the flux lines. Everyone can imagine this thing. Yes. So what Faraday's law says that when you have north pole and south pole, and in between north pole and south pole, there is flux lines between north and south pole. Now what you have to do is that you put a conductor. Say for example, in these flux lines, you put a conductor. Okay, then I will do one thing that I will erase some part of this, and in that part, okay. So this part, you have a conductor. This is the example. Just I'm saying. Now this is a conductor. Okay, these are flux lines. I think we. So these are the flux lines. See, they are traveling through your they are traveling through this. Okay, so when they are traveling through this, so obviously there is a possibility that they may travel like this. So now see, I have put a conductor. I have put a conductor. So now one thing I will do. One part of this I will open. So now you see this blue color rectangular shape. Now it is open. Now you see here it is open. It's clear. Open. You see it is open now. So you have a conductor. This rectangular shape is a conductor. Now, where exactly you put this conductor? You put in the presence of a magnetic field. Now, how comes the magnetic field here? This north pole is there here. There is south pole here. So between north and south pole, the flux lines travels from north to south pole. So there is a magnetic field here. Now you put the conductor like this. So when you put the conductor like this, then now two cases. Once again in the DC machine. So this is common. Till now, this is common. There is not there is magnetic field is there. There is conductor. This is common both for the DC generator and also for the motor. So generator is one part or one type of DC machine, whereas motor is another type of DC machine. Of course, there is no difference much between generator and motor. The only difference is that which is the input, which is the output. That is the only difference. The remaining system is same. The system is same. Only thing is that which one you are giving input, so that which one you will get output. For example, I will take the case of generator. Okay. So what will happen if I take the case of generator? So in case of generator, everyone know this thing, that a generator converts mechanical energy to electrical energy. This is what it does. Converts mechanical energy to electrical energy. Whereas motor, what it does, it converts electrical to mechanical. Okay. Now you see now. So generator, motor, you understand now. So even though it is a generator or motor, this magnetic field and the coil, they are common parts. Now, for example, let me take the case of generator. So in case of generator, what is the input you will give? Mechanical input you will give. So to whom you will give the mechanical input here? You will give the mechanical input to the coil. Now the coil here is the rotating one. See here, coil is the rotating one, and it is called armature. It is armature. Whereas the poles, magnetic field in the sense, these are the poles. Just now I told you that the magnetic field present in the DC machine, not only DC machine, the magnetic field, there are two possibilities. Either you can use permanent magnets, okay? Either you will use permanent magnet or electromagnet. Electromagnet. So now here, which one I have taken is that permanent magnets we have taken, North Pole and South Pole. They are permanent magnets. So now coming to the case of generator, what generator says that a DC generator takes mechanical energy and it gives electrical energy. So now to this entire picture, where do you give the mechanical energy? So you have to give the mechanical energy in the sense where exactly you do is that, this coil is there. Okay, this coil. Now you cannot keep the coil in air. Generally, you don't keep the coil in air. You just put the coil around somewhere you put here, something like this. Something like this. I will show you here that. Okay, so this is a magnetic circuit is there. A magnetic bar is there. Some magnetic core will be there. That's called magnetic core. So on the core you put the winding. So this blue color coil I have drawn here. This is on a particular magnetic core. Even though I did not draw there, you must assume yourself that this coil or this wire is on a magnetic core. It is on a magnetic core. That part I didn't draw. But now I will draw now. Here also I will draw that. What is that? Is that, see, for example, you have a magnetic core. Now let me take another color so that you will understand which color is for whom. So this one. Just take an assumption. This one is the magnetic core. This one is the magnetic core. So on the magnetic core, you put the coil. That coil is blue color, whereas the poles are red color, and the flux lines are in green color. So that you can easily understand. Now this magnetic core you connect to any turbine or any, yeah, you can call it as turbine only. So you connect it to any turbine, or you connect it to any object which is rotating. You connect to any object which is rotating. For example, wheels of a car or wheels of a bicycle or anywhere something rotating is there. So you connect that. So this magnetic core, truly speaking, this is not the part which you connect to the turbine. But just imagine yourself. This is one example I'm taking, that you connect this magnetic core to a turbine. So now the turbine is rotating. For example, if it is wind turbine, then wind flows on the turbine. Wind flows on the turbine. So because of that, it will rotate. Because of that, it will rotate. So when it is rotating, what do you find out here is that when it is rotating, the coil also rotates. Why the coil rotates here? Because the coil is on the magnetic core. Now the magnetic core is connected to the turbine. Turbine is now rotating. Why the turbine is rotating? I told you that it depends upon, for example, if it is wind turbine, then the wind flow, when the wind is flowing, then the turbine rotates. For example, if it is the turbine used in the thermal power plant, then the steam will be fall on the turbine. So steam turbine is there. So if the turbine is steam turbine, then the steam will fall on the turbine. Then because of the pressure and because of force, this turbine will rotate. Okay, so as the turbine is rotating, it depends upon wind or steam turbine or hydro power, thermal power plant. So it depends upon the type of power plant, the turbine rotates. That you must assume yourself that the turbine is. So when the turbine is rotating, on the turbine, what do you find out? You find out a coil. That is the blue color coil I have shown here. So as the turbine is rotating, the coil is also rotating, because the coil is exactly on the it is wound on the magnetic core. So magnetic core is rotating, coil is also rotating. So when the coil is rotating, what do you find out here is that the flux lines which are in green color, this green color flux lines, okay, these green color flux lines are there. These are the flux lines which are flowing from north to south. Okay, north pole to south pole. So green color flux lines are there. So these green color flux lines, when you are rotating this coil, what do you find out is that when you are rotating that, so you will feel this thing that you will definitely feel this thing that this coil will cut the flux lines. These coils will cut the flux lines. So when they are cutting the flux lines, this Faraday's law will come into force. This Faraday's law is there. This will come into force. So now what this Faraday's law says now? The Faraday's law says that whenever there is change in flux linkages to a conductor, whenever there is a change in flux linkages to a conductor, EMF will be induced in the conductor. That's the simple statement. You have very long statement also, you can see in the textbooks, but I'm giving in my own words. Okay, uh, okay, you can understand that. So Faraday's law says that whenever there is a change in flux linking to the conductor, EMF will be induced in the conductor. That is a simple statement. Now what you must understand here is that, is it really here in this particular example, is it really the flux which is linking to the coil changes or not? That's the question everyone must understand. I will say it changes. Why I'm saying it changes is that, see, you are not keeping the coil stationary, you are rotating it using the turbine. You are rotating the coil. So when you are rotating the coil, you can imagine yourself. So the position of the coil or the position of the conductor which you have put between north and south pole, that position is not fixed. Or the point, for example, I will take this point. Which point I will take is that, let me take one point. Let me use red color. This point I will take, say for example, A. So this point is not stationary. This point is moving. So when this point is moving, whereas the flux lines here from north pole and north pole to south pole, they are stationary. It means the flux line pattern is fixed. The pattern of the flux lines is fixed. Why the pattern is fixed? Because the north pole and south pole both are fixed. That's the reason we are calling it as a stator, and it is stationary. So your north pole, south pole locations are fixed. So when the location of these poles are fixed, then the flux pattern between the north pole and south pole, it is also fixed. Okay, so when it is fixed, whereas this point A here, this point A is there here, this point A, not only this, any point you take on the coil. So this point A, okay, is changing. Why it is changing? Because you are rotating there. So as you are rotating there, this point A is changing. So when point A is changing, it may happen that sometimes more flux will cut, or sometimes less flux will interact with the point A. Sometimes no flux is interacting with point A. This may happen. Why this may happen? Because the flux pattern is fixed, whereas the point A is moving continuously. It is changing its position continuously. When it is changing its position continuously, then the flux linking also changes. The flux linking also changes. So when the flux linking is changing, then the Faraday's law, that's what he says. What Faraday's law says is that whenever the flux linking to a conductor is changing, then EMF will be induced. EMF will be induced in that coil. So now you can just so EMF will be induced. So what is EMF here? EMF is nothing but the potential difference. So it means this process will create a potential difference between these 2 points. I will take here P and Q. These are the 2 points. So this creates a potential difference between point P and Q. Okay. So now the polarity plus minus. Let me take, this is one possibility, another possibility. This is minus, this is plus. These are the 2 possibilities you have. So either you have this polarity plus minus, or you have plus minus. These are the 2. Uh, Now who will decide this polarity? Once again, who will decide this polarity? So the Faraday's law will says that EMF will be induced, and he said another thing. What is the another thing? That EMF E is equal to d psi by dt. What is the psi is n into phi. What is n? Number of turns. What is phi? Flux. So whereas psi is the flux linkages. So your EMF induced is proportional to the rate of change of flux. Okay, it's the rate of change of flux, or it is equal to rate of change of flux linkages. So this is EMF. This is also as per the Faraday's law. Okay, but everyone knows this thing that EMF has a polarity and current has a direction. So polarity in the sense, one is plus, another is minus, or one is higher potential, the other is lower potential. Now, which one is higher potential, which one is lower potential? This question definitely will come because this is a EMF. Similarly, when I say some current is flowing there, then we must get this idea that which direction the current is flowing, whether it is left side to right side or right side to left side, or whether it is top to bottom or bottom to top. So now here also same thing, that when EMF is induced, that is Faraday says, and as per this procedure, now as per this construction in the DC machine, this is about DC machine, that DC generator case. This is the case of the DC generator. So in the case of the DC generator, so you are rotating the turbine, so the EMF will be induced, and that EMF is how much? It is d psi by dt. Now the next question is that which polarity is plus, which is minus. Now this one, which is plus, which is minus, that's the polarity, is decided by another law. That law is Lenz's law. That law is Lenz's law. So Lenz's law, what Lenz's law says? The Lenz's law says that the Lenz's law states that Okay, so the polarity is in such a way that, okay, now the response opposes the cause. The response opposes the cause. Okay, so that's the Lenz's law. Okay, so the response opposes the cause. So based upon that one, the polarity will be decided. Okay, that you might have studied in the DC generator. Okay, so this is about generator. Now let me take the case of, okay, motor. Let me take the case of motor, for example. Okay, DC motor. So DC motor, you might have studied this thing that DC motor will take electrical energy and it generates mechanical energy. So the construction remains same. There is no change in the construction. Okay. So the flux lines are always from north pole to south pole. And where is the conductor here? This is the conductor. Okay. So this is the conductor. Okay. So now you see now what you must understand here is that this is the conductor. Okay. Now what motor says? Motor says this thing that it takes electrical energy as input and it gives mechanical energy as the output. This is what motor says. Okay. So now we can do one thing that how can you give the electrical energy here? What are the ways to give electrical energy? Simple thing that you connect a battery. Okay, you connect a battery here. So I have a battery here. This is a battery. Okay. Then I will connect the battery. See, there of course there is some other construction is also some other parts also there that I'm not drawing here. I'm just giving one brief example of the DC motor. So there is a battery. Why I'm connecting the battery this time? Because this is the motor, not the generator. So this part remains same. North pole, south pole, and the coil it remains same. Only difference is that in case of generator you give the mechanical energy, okay, whereas in case of the DC motor, in case of the motor you give the electrical energy as the input. So I'm giving the electrical energy as the input here. See here I'm giving the electrical energy. This is electric. So when I give a battery here, what is the direction of the current? You can see yourself. This is the direction of the current. This is the direction. So current flows in the coil now. Now the current flows in the coil. So when the current is flowing in the coil, okay, when the current is flowing in the coil, okay, so so now you see here this end I will okay. What once again same thing that there is a magnetic core is there. See, this magnetic core is always there. On the magnetic core you put the coil, okay. So now this end is there. So if the coil, okay, now I send the current into the coil. So when I send the current into the coil, now what will happen is that this coil will start rotating. This coil will start rotating. So it means you are giving electrical energy, then it starts. So how it start rotating? Once again, you must understand this thing that how it start rotating. Why it is rotating first of all? Why it is rotating? So how comes the torque production here? How the torque is being produced? Okay, this you must understand how the torque is being produced here. Okay, so then you will have to understand one important thing that how the torque is being produced here. Okay, so you see here now what you will understand is that once again you will take the help of Lenz's law and Faraday's law. So these are very common. These are very common here. Okay, Lenz's law, Faraday's law. So now when it starts rotating, then as per Lenz's law, the response oppose the cause. See, different ways you can tell what is Lenz's law. This is not the only way. So response oppose the cause. So when the response is opposing the cause, then what do you find out is that a back EMF will be induced. Now you got the word here, back EMF. This back EMF you will find out in the DC motor. So this back EMF will be induced, and that back EMF will oppose the main battery here. So because of that opposition, okay, there will be potential difference, and that potential difference will change the current value. When the current is changing, then once again torque will. So this is a cyclic process. Of course, I'm not going to explain this in detail because this you might have studied already. Just I want to tell you this thing, that what are the parts you will find out in the DC machine. Okay, so this you might have studied, that either the DC motor or DC generator. Okay, this is case of the DC generator, and either the case of the DC machine or the DC generator, you might have studied this thing, that how it works and what it works, and what else you might have studied there apart from that. Okay, how to control the speed and so.